amazing film. All right. That was some trailer, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, wow. It was, I mean, I don't know. The first things that come to my mind, I guess, like, I think, yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies and DC, right? I mean, I'm not a DC fan other than Batman. Huge Marvel fan. Seen
Right.
all Marvel films, mostly all the TV shows and everything. And I've always wondered, right? And also like Game of Thrones and all of these, right? Like all these fantasy films like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Always wondered, always wanted something Indian, like somebody making something like that on those lines in the Indian film industry. And I think Brahmastra is probably the answer to that. I mean, it's spectacular. VFX are amazing as far as I've seen them, and it's if not the best, I think it's definitely the first step towards it for sure. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, not a big fan of VFX heavy films. So this here you see it in like is it gods they're grappling with or like superpowers?
Okay, so let's just give yeah. So to give you a little bit of a brief about Indian mythology, I guess. So we are dealing. So this is supposed to be. So Ayan Mukherjee, the director of this film, who's very young, he's just done two films so far, both with Ranbir Kapoor, by the way. This is his third film. This is a trilogy that the way they're planning. It's going to be three films. So this is part one, and it's named Shiva. So Shiva is an Indian god, one of the three murtis. So I like the one is the creator, his Brahma, the one is destroyer, Shiva, and then there's Vishnu, who's like the protector. So I'm guessing this is how the movie or the trilogy is gonna go, and Shiva, the first god. So I guess that the way they're gonna use these are probably not gods, these are normal people who are gonna harness these powers of gods. Like Shiva, for example, is this character's name, and I'm guessing there's something related to Lord Shiva as well. Because the reason I'm saying that is because there's Nagarjuna's character. He always has, I mean, his Vahana, or like the thing that he travels on is a Nandi, is like a big sort of a bull kind of thing, right? Like, so that's the power that Nagarjuna is wielding the Nandi Astra. And apparently from the trailer, Ranbir, who's Shiva, he's wielding the Agni Astra, right? Like the fire power. So he's probably not exactly Shiva. There's a lot more astras, but the major astra is Brahmastra.
ये कहानी है इन सारे अस्त्रों के देवता की ब्रह्मास्त्र
What's with the Hanuman kind of
Good
avatar?
question, right? That's amazing. That's the Hanuman thing, right? So I don't know how Hanuman fits into all of this. In Mahabharat, also there is a Hanuman. I mean, obviously Hanuman is there in Ramayan, which you always know, but Bhim is, Hanuman's son in a different way because both are Vayu, air. And like they explain in the trailer, they're saying water. They started with a woman walking. I don't know who that woman is. And then there's Vayu, the way of fire spreading through, trying to say that that's wind, air, and then there's finally fire. So they're showing three elements out of a hint saying that Shah Rukh Khan is playing a cameo in this film. He's a scientist or whatever. A lot of people are saying that that particular picture of that Hanuman's glowing image, and then there's the dude over there. They're saying that's Shah Rukh Khan. I'm not sure. We don't know how that fits into this whole picture, but apparently we cannot take Hanuman as a bad figure, so I'm guessing he's on the good side. Looking at all these people, I'm guessing that, there are like a lot of people who are like trying to protect the earth, I would say, like how Avengers do. And all these people control one of the astras. Some could be very powerful, some could be less powerful, I guess, because I've seen some kind of storm.
So yeah, film like I mean it doesn't have to do anything with it's based on these weapons which were mentioned in the Mahabharata and which have been retrieved.
I mean, it's just not in the Mahabharata. It's just there in Indian mythology, just like that, because it's not exactly Mahabharata.
So you reckon this is like happening in a real world, or it's
Yeah, it's happening in today's world. If you would ask me, in today's world, but like how every Marvel movie happens or DC movie happens, right? Like Marvel movies are happening right now. They're like happening right now,
so
which is
yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, I'm really pumped, really excited to see the trailer, and like I'm I mean, for me, I look at things where I want the Indian film industry to, have a name for itself in a way where I want it to have that same scale and grandness that the other film industries do have. And I think this is definitely an answer from Indian film industry for sure,
I
absolutely.
mean, Robert, should we all go the Marvel way to like actually?
I'm not saying we have to go the Marvel way. There's a lot of like again, see, there's problems where I've after seeing the trailer, I've also seen a few reviews of the trailer where a lot of people are comparing it with Marvel, with all these other Hollywood films, right? Which are like this, like Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, name it, and references to like the antagonist in Brahmastra, right? So she is being characterized, I mean, like referenced with Scarlet Witch in Marvel, just because there's red in them and the way she does things. There are similarities. I'm not saying Ayan Mukherjee has not pulled off things from here and there, but all I'm trying to say, there's like an arrow kind of thing that goes in green. It's a snake kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
that's like this. It's a Nagastra. That's the name of it, right? It's green in color. These are what is there in Indian mythology. This is not taken from Marvel. Marvel and all those comics have come in like what, 70s, 60s maybe? Or
Right.
even if you want to go to the 1800s, even then, that's still fresh, that's still new. What we have dates back centuries.
No, I mean, yeah, it looks like a Marvel film. Is the
But that's
thought.
what I'm saying. I am not agreeing to that. It probably looks like that based on the trailers and all that. But what I feel is that it's very meticulously made. It's made in a way where every astra is given a different color and it suits it and it's correct. And the way it's being depicted, I would say for sure. And
Yeah.
in that perspective, when I'm looking at it, I really enjoyed the trailer. I felt pride. I wanted somebody, anybody, right, to sometime in the future, I thought would happen where we would be able to make a Mahabharat in a way of like Game of Thrones, how Game of Thrones is made. Game of Thrones is very raw. It's very true. It's very it shows you reality. That's what Mahabharata is too. And I'm not trying to digress, I mean, not digress from the topic, but what I'm trying to say is I always wanted something like that, a spectacle, where when forces like this happen, when the fights happen, when the astras are used, this is how it would, in my mind, I guess, when I was reading through them, I imagined them like that. And I'm seeing that come true, which is exactly not Mahabharata, but whatever it is, it's Indian mythology being shown on such a large scale. I think I've, I mean, I have no words to explain how happy I am to see
Yeah.
something like this come out.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess I know you're not as excited as I am, but
I mean, we don't have a like we never made a lot of rings. If there was a precedence of that, I would be excited. And I've never heard about this filmmaker. Maybe that's why. And the whole
oh,
Alia.
so let's talk a little bit of the filmmaker. He's Ayan Mukherjee. He's made two films. He's made his first film when he was like 26 years old. That's Wake Up Sid with Ranbir
Yeah.
and Konkana Sen Sharma. It's an amazing film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very well. It's about a coming to age film. And then he made Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. Beautiful
Okay.
film.
Oh,
Again with Ranveer, Deepika. Amazing film. It's about friendship, love, photography, passion, everything. Beautiful film. It was one of the best, I mean, highest grosses of that year,
Okay.
2014.
Yeah.
He's 2 films old. His third film. Look at his audacity to plan something like that. I mean, I definitely want to give it to this guy. I think he has the balls to do it, the guts to do it. Um, and apparently until now, right, it's been delayed, right? It's been delayed for so long. This was announced like 8 years ago, and nothing has been happening. And I was like, what the hell? And we are at a stage right now. This is 2022, June, almost mid June. It is exactly mid June. I would say, damn, let it take this long. It's gonna be nice, based on what I've seen in the trailer. I mean, I was like, okay, fine, let it. It took this long. That's okay. But yeah, I think it's maybe not over the top too much of the VFX. I don't want that to happen. I want the story to be there. Without the story, there's nobody's going to be invested in the film. So in that way, I would say I would agree with you. But then the VFX definitely worked.
Yeah. I think the film as well is predominantly targeted to the younger audience.
Kiran, I was a kid. I was a kid 30 years ago. And now, just because I said that, now let me give you references of people who go and watch Marvel films in United States or anywhere across the globe. There are people who have been reading the comics. They've always wanted those comics to be feature films. Those people are like 70, 80 years old now. Maybe more than that. Some people have died. You know the number of people that come here in the US to watch the Marvel films in theater? You will be surprised. There's a lot of people who come in there like who are like age 60s. They're like 60 years old. They're watching the movies.
Yeah, right.
So what I'm trying to say here again is now, like I'll give you references in India. My mom would not be excited to watch Brahmastra at all. For her, like N.T. Ramarao and what all they did Mahabharat films and all that. For them, that is the peak because they cannot go past that. They think VFX and all that is bullshit. They think acting, the actors' eyes, how they emote, all that matters for them. So there are a set of people like that who are actually into Indian mythology. People in our generation are not as much into Indian mythology as much as they are. I think they're trying to tell a story which hopefully, I hope that they will be able to tell a story where more and more crowd or the people who have forgotten about Indian mythology can start learning about it maybe through this. Maybe somebody would want to know what a Nandi Astra is or what a Nag Astra is, what can it do, where did it originate from? And then probably they would want to go and read Mahabharat. I see a lot going on here, and I am really invested in this. I'm really hoping that this would change something for the Indian industry.
Right. Like for me, like it doesn't work because it's again the same Mela shots. The pool is falling, and these guys are having romance next to a bloody temple. He's at the ghat at Varanasi, and there's some fire coming. Like we've seen these images like to death, especially because we're Telugu audience. Like
Sure.
so, for me, it doesn't draw me to go watch it. Like Bahubali was exciting for me as a trailer because it showed me something which I was in my imagination. But this has already been seen, is how I feel. And Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt is very questionable at this time. But
They're a married couple. Even I mean they met on the sets of this movie actually, and then it turned out that romance turned out into a marriage. And I mean I think they look pretty cute together. And yeah, I don't think there's any question about that couple. And like I said, it can go two ways. It could either be a blockbuster or a disaster. There's only two things. There's no middle ground here. There's no middle ground. We're talking about extremes. It's either going to be the worst movie made ever or one of the best movies made ever. Yeah, there's only two ways to go with this. And just saying it's just that we are stepping into this space in such a grand scale is what I'm proud of. That's what I'm trying to get to actually. Like
well, yeah, you associate yourself as an Indian very pretty strongly. I can see from this. It's a matter of
see,
pride.
Kiran, when you go watch global cinema, not sitting in India and watching it outside with among other people, and when other people feel that their movies are better, and when we have the talent, we have the stories. See, that's where I think this movie cannot go wrong is because we have deep-rooted stories which are mythologically very, very sensible. They're all. If you would ask logic, there's no logic there as well. I mean, there's no logic in Marvel films as well, but then they
No,
work.
why do you compare yourself with anyone?
Let's go there where Hollywood, like Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers, they are producing. Disney is producing an Indian film. That's where I would want Indian filmmakers to go. That's where, and we have potential, we have concepts. That's what I'm saying. All these Indian mythology stuff, it'll work, it'll sell. When Game of Thrones could go, Game of Thrones had nothing in it. It was just showing you how raw things about how people are, how kingdoms work. And that worked. That's how people are. And in Mahabharata, this is like not even like 1% of Mahabharata. We have that much. And
Also, like,
Mahabharata is 1% of the entire Indian mythology. So we have so much we could take from. And if it's shown in a scale like this, like how Brahmastra trailer that I've seen, if it can be shown in that way, I am telling you, there's definitely, I mean, that's definitely going to be huge, amazing, for sure. And this is not just me saying.
no, I'm coming from a filmmaker perspective. You seem to have like some other agenda here.
I'm also talking about as a fan, right? Like as a fan
Fan
of
what? Like
movies,
of Indian culture.
in general. Of okay, let you could just term me as a person. I'm an MCU fan, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Huge fan, huge fan. For me, something like this, Brahmastra is an Indian kind of a thing for a response to MCU. Oh yeah, bring it on.
Even like once you have all these like things flying around and like when physics is all over the place, I'm not like so.
I don't get it. You don't ask about physics in Marvel films. I look at films that are
Well,
working as in not commercially, as not just commercially. If they're working commercially, that means they have some emotional quotient to it as well. So I think it's a well-made film. That's why they're making the money. So I like all those films, and you don't like any of those films
no,
which
dude,
make money. Did you tell me one film
something
you like which made money?
which got really famous, which Scorsese said, where he doesn't consider Marvel movies to be cinema, which is what I.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You are from that kind of a set of people which is very small.
Yeah,
Movies, what
yeah,
movies
it's
are.
more
I
like
mean,
a
so
Indian.
what a movie is entertainment. Entertainment. That's what it is. If you can entertain me, I will watch your movie. The filmmaker also wants to entertain the people. Only then he can make more and more films, which will make him more and more money. Martin Scorsese's movies will are definitely top notch. They are spoken about. They don't make any revenue. They cannot be watched again and again by thousands of people again and again, again and again. You can't. But a Marvel film, a Marvel Avengers Endgame, even though it's a tragic film, people will still watch it. Take Martin Scorsese's films. Count how many times people have watched his. A huge thing where the entire Indian industry is coming together. So that's, I think, more exciting for me.
I would watch something like that. This, yeah, just doesn't do it for me. Seems very like gods and like give me a break. But yeah, that's what it is. To each their own. So yeah, I'm definitely not watching this film in theater.
In India, it excites at least like 70% of the population. So I am in the majority side. So I'm saying that audience is good enough for this film to work. We don't care about the other 30% because the 70% watching it twice will cover the 30% that's not watching.
Yeah, for me, the whole trailer comes off as very immature and there's no substance to it. But yeah, like,
No, it's not at all. I don't feel it's immature at all. I think
it's
there's a lot of concept in it. All the Nandi Astra, the way that it's coming, the way it's supporting Shiva, all these other people, a lot of astras that they're showing. But all in all, I think it's gonna
that
be it was a great trailer. I mean, I fell in love with the trailer. I definitely give kudos to the entire team. I wish they do well. I really hope success is there in their future for sure, because that would be success for Indian film industry as well. So yeah.
that's again, yeah, that's very cool. The whole industry doesn't depend on a stupid film, right?
It's, I mean, It is, name. It's
Not
based
from
on
a
that. RRR is getting a very good name after it's released on Netflix. A lot of people like the director and writer of Doctor Strange. There's those people have commended it. A lot of people across the globe are commending it. So
probably review
it's-
RRR.
yeah, no, I don't think I want to get there.
No, it'll be fun.
We will just fight, I think.
No, we should rewatch it and see like how it works.
I've seen it a lot of times. I like the movie. There are certain parts which didn't work, but that's fine.
Yeah. So okay, that's it with this.
All right.
Oh,
Ciao. This movie can change the Bollywood industry, like